Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my full show review of WWE Saturday Night's main event, the December 2024 edition. I'm clarifying that this is the December 2024 edition because there's going to be multiple Saturday Night's main events and I don't want you getting confused down the line. But we're going to go through every single match one by one. I'm going to tell you what I thought of the match, if I like the match, if I like the winner, and where I think things could go from here. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And don't forget, if you want even more than just daily wrestling content, to come check out the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap. Over there, you're going to get daily content that we never upload here to YouTube. So the link will be in the description for you, but the link will also be in the pinned comment. Come check it out. And I'm still on vacation, which is why I'm still in this kind of dead backdrop. I will be back into my usual background in my usual studio in just a couple of days. And no, I've not been kidnapped by the cartel. Let's start the review. Before we go into things from a match by match basis, first I want to talk about the overall package that was Saturday night's main event. And I want to talk about it because I had some concerns going in. Primarily, my concern was that this was a 2-hour show that was still going to have commercials that was somehow supposed to pack in 5 PLE quality matches into the show. And I'm happy to say that for the most part, I feel like WWE kind of knocked it out of the park and had really great time management because every single match had a lot of time to breathe. It had a pretty solid beginning, middle, and end, and they were still able to get all of their precious commercials in. The one thing that definitely was sacrificed so that the matches could still get plenty of time was that there weren't really any backstage segments or any promos like I was kind of expecting. So because there were no promos, because there were no backstage segments, it didn't really leave a lot of room for surprises like a return from John Cena or The Rock. But frankly, maybe we just had our expectations too high expecting those guys in the first place. Honestly, I don't actually think that the John Cena expectation was that high to begin with. I feel like it really would have made a lot of sense and this would have been a perfect place to kind of get the wheels going on the John Cena retirement tour. So WWE overall, they managed to get their matches in, but overall as a full-fledged show, they had to sacrifice something in order to be able to give all of the matches their time to breathe. But the stage design, I loved all of the graphics. Every single match had a pretty solid video package as well, which was necessary to explain the storylines to people that were tuning in to watch wrestling for the first time because they were in front of a primetime US crowd. So there were a lot of people experiencing wrestling for the first time. So I thought that it was smart to do that. It was cool. We got Pat McAfee back. Jesse the Body Ventura was amazing. And again, just the overall aesthetic of the show was really pleasing to the eye. So I'm excited for the future of Saturday night's main event. I haven't obviously gone through things match by match, but my gut feeling was that I enjoyed this. I know that there were a lot of expectations, but for what it was, I thought that this was a lot of fun. But now let's jump into things from a match by match basis, starting with the first match, the match between Sami Zayn taking on the pissed off Bloodline bounty hunter Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre does pick up the victory, and the first thing that I have to say is good. This needed to happen. Drew McIntyre is going to be such an important and vital character as we go into the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, as we go into WrestleMania 41, and him beating Sami Zayn was an important first step at making Drew McIntyre into this vicious, monstrous person that's going to be going after every single member of the Bloodline. So in terms of Drew McIntyre winning, I think that it was the right result. And I think it's pretty clear where we go from here as well, because he looked at the camera and he said, "One down," which meant several more to go. And he clarified as much on Twitter. We are in the bounty hunter, Bloodline bounty hunter Drew McIntyre arc, and I'm here for it. And if I'm a betting man, I'm willing to bet that this likely ends with Roman versus McIntyre, probably at SummerSlam. One of the things that I predicted for this match was that if there was going to be a match that was going to be a squash match, it was going to be this one. And I just thought, because of how I guess I predicted that WWE was going to be stressed for time, that if there was a match that they could cut down time on, it was going to be this one. However, they didn't cut down on anything. This was a very competitive, bell-to-bell, really good match. Honestly, if you dissect all of the matches, this might have been the best match of the freaking night. I don't think that there's any one particular match that really stands heads and shoulders above any of them. Like, I feel like they were all pretty similar in terms of quality, but I feel like there's a case to be made that this might have been the best quality match of the night. Sami Zayn looked fantastic in this match, in a match where I thought that he was just gonna get destroyed. Drew McIntyre looked like a freaking beast in this, doing some crazy nutty moves like this deadweight powerbomb that he pulled off on Sami Zayn. Honestly, the back and forth and the offense between these two were just brilliant. And I love the ending too, because it was a really smart and a really cunning Drew McIntyre as well, who was about to get hit by a haluva kick. He rolls out, Sami Zayn chases him, he rolls back into the ring, Sami Zayn chases him back into the ring, and then eats a claymore for the 1, 2, 3. So overall, the quality of the match was great. The result of the match was fantastic. The bigger, I guess, dominoes that fall are really interesting and intriguing as well, with Drew McIntyre gunning after every single member of the bloodline. One of the things that did kind of surprise me is I was really expecting Jey Uso at some point here, either at the beginning of the match, at the end of the match, but we didn't get Jey Uso on here. I was really genuinely hoping that we were going to get that big main event Jey Uso entrance with this, honestly, admittedly, really good crowd in the Nassau Coliseum at Saturday night's main event. Overall, I like the match. I like the booking. So it's a pretty simple thumbs up for me. Next up, we have the WWE Women's World Championship match between the champion Liv Morgan defending against the challenger Io Sky. And the winner of this match ended up being Liv Morgan. And I also think that they went about this in a really smart way. Look, I predicted and was kind of hoping that Io Sky would win here. I wanted Io Sky to win because Io Sky is my favorite. So I admittedly am being very biased. But two, I'm kind of ready to have this title be removed from the Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan feud. So you would think that I would be upset with Liv Morgan winning. However, I'm not. And I think the reason why I'm not mad about it is because Liv Morgan actually won clean. It wasn't another cookie cutter ending with everyone getting involved. Rhea Ripley going out there, Raquel Rodriguez helping, Dominic Mysterio helping her cheat. This was just a straight up great bell to bell match, just like McIntyre and Sami Zayn was. And I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate Liv Morgan actually winning clean against a really credible opponent. As much as I love Io Sky and hate seeing her lose, I can't hate on this, because I think if you're gonna have Liv win, this was actually the best way to do it. But not only did Liv Morgan win clean, I feel like Liv Morgan had the best match of her championship reign. And I don't think that I'm exaggerating. And, you know, to the surprise of no one, because when you're working alongside Io Sky, like, she's gonna get the best out of you. And I feel like that's what we got. We got a really, really hard-hitting match between these two that ended with Liv Morgan being busted open from this nasty, vicious knee from Io Sky. But I love the plucky, like, smart guerrilla warfare style offense from Liv Morgan, where she would counter beautiful moves into things like her code breaker. I love this sequence as well, where we had Io Sky do this amazing reversal of the Oblivion into a crippler crossface. That was absolutely beautiful. I love the ending as well, with Io Sky going for the moonsault and then eating the 2 feet to the face and then eating an Oblivion and then losing clean. I think it was the right call. We even saw Io Sky pull out a good old fashioned triple suplex that she used to do in Stardom. I thought that overall, again, this match was just a lot of fun in ring. And as much as I was hoping that Io Sky would win, I can't be mad about the booking of a strong Liv Morgan as a champion. This is good. Again, would have loved Io Sky to win, but if you were gonna have Liv win, this was the best way to do it. So once again, thumbs up. Now, before we move on to talk about the men's triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, it's important to note that when Liv Morgan won, as she was going to the back, Rhea Ripley's music hits, and then they have a face-off. No violence, nothing like that. It's kind of signifying that that's the next step. And I figured that that would be the next step, because at the end of the day, let's face it, Io Sky was just a filler feud for Liv Morgan. I don't know when this match will take place. I just don't think that they could possibly stretch this out to WrestleMania. There's too much time and too many major shows between now and WrestleMania for the WWE to stretch out Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan that far out.
Sammy, run from the taser, Sammy.
Oh my God! Oh, dude, look at this. Good God.
Before, what a debut. What a debut.
Spear! That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the ridiculous WrestleMania 38 match between Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville in an anything goes match. We're looking at a wild intergender match between Penta El Zero Miedo versus Io Sky in Lucha Underground. We're looking at the short but awesome match between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire. What a dumb name for a show. We're also going to be watching the Big Boom AJ Costco guys match that he just had at AEW Full Gear's pre-show. And we're looking back at the debut of The Shield during the triple threat match at Survivor Series between John Cena, Ryback, and CM Punk. You're going to be getting these watch-alongs and more, like our Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, the currently ongoing Royal Rumble watch-alongs that we're doing, and the Undertaker WrestleMania match watch-alongs as well. Again, all of this is available exclusively on patreon.com. I'll put the link in the description, the link in the pinned comment. Come give it a try even for just 1 month, because I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with it. This is all content that just never gets uploaded to YouTube because we just simply can't. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. It's the reason why I'm able to do this as much as I do. Thank you very much, and back to the video. Now let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match between the champion Gunther defending against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And the winner of this match was Gunther. And thank the Lord. Any other decision, had Gunther lost this match and lost the World Heavyweight Championship, this would have been a giant, colossal blunder from the WWE's booking team. This was the only choice. Gunther winning was the only choice, and luckily, they didn't try to get fancy with it. Gunther won. One of the things that I think pretty much everyone was expecting was the involvement of Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio has storyline beef with pretty much all three of these guys at this point, and it really would have made sense for the WWE to have Dominic Mysterio insert himself into this match and maybe cost Finn Balor the match. However, I feel like WWE was trying to just keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid for the crowd that was watching this show that had a huge newbie base, people that don't watch WWE on the regular basis. So I don't think that they wanted, they didn't want Money in the Bank cash-ins, they didn't want promos, they didn't want interferences or anything too crazy that would be hard to follow, which is why I think they just kept Dominic Mysterio on the sideline for this. And I will admit, I felt like the first half of this match was kind of weak sauce. I wasn't particularly highly entertained by it. It didn't feel like the fast-paced, hard-hitting triple threat match that I was expecting out of here. I just felt like these three guys just didn't quite have the chemistry that we were expecting. But when they went to commercial break and came back from commercial break, the final sequence of the match, I'd say like the last 8 minutes, was freaking fantastic. That's when it turned into the type of triple threat match that I like. And I feel like I've beaten this topic to death. The type of triple threat match that I like is when all three guys are part of the offensive scheme. I hate it, despise it when a triple threat match is just a one-on-one match with some dude resting on the outside. That's not what this was in the latter portion of the match. This was the type of triple threat match that I love. And it was in that final 8 minutes where everybody got a moment to shine. Finn Balor got his moment where he's hitting sling blades, where he's hitting his finishers, where he's looking strong and standing tall against these behemoths in the ring. Damian Priest pretty much looked like a beast throughout this entire match, even pulling out an old school a la The Undertaker. He hits Gunther with the razor's edge. He kind of dominated everybody in this match. And Gunther kind of felt like an afterthought for the first portion of the match, but when he came back from commercial break, he really was the anchor of this match. He was the one that was creating the free-flowing offense between the three guys that created that seemingly improved chemistry when they came back from commercial break. My favorite, I would say, back and forth of the match is when they were set up to maybe do like an electric chair spot that gets turned into Damian Priest hitting Gunther with the razor's edge, and then Finn Balor hits Gunther with the coup de grace. You think that Finn Balor is going to pick up the victory only for Damian Priest to break it up? That was great. The finishing sequence was rad too, with Gunther like viciously picking up Damian Priest for a powerbomb onto the stairs. And it was a struggle to get Damian Priest up, but because Gunther is such a fucking beast, he still managed to pick him up, even though he was struggling to be able to flip him over. And then he rolls into the ring, hits Finn Balor with the flurry of finishers that he's known for to pick up the victory and walk out still your world heavyweight champion. In terms of where we go from here, I'm assuming it's Finn versus Damian, maybe Finn versus Dominic Mysterio, maybe something gets shaken up in the Judgment Day because of the transfer portal. But for Gunther, anything new. I just don't want it to be Damian Priest or Finn Balor. I wouldn't be surprised if we move on entirely from either of those two. But when I look at Monday Night Raw, I feel like it could be so many people. It might not even be anybody from Monday Night Raw. Maybe it's somebody coming over from SmackDown. Maybe somebody like LA Knight gets transferred over to Raw to give Gunther a new opponent. So Gunther right now is in a clean slate position. So up to this point, because of this final sequence, I'm also going to give this a thumbs up, but it was in danger of being a really forgettable, lackluster match, but it saved itself with the ending. Now let's talk about the final of the Women's United States Championship tournament between Chelsea Green and Michin. So Chelsea Green wins, and pretty much because of that, it gets a thumbs up because, oh my God, finally, the excitement from the crowd, my excitement, my community's excitement, the internet is set ablaze with how happy people are for Chelsea Green. But here's the thing. We were in a really, really rare situation, the rare win-win scenario for WWE fans, because I also would have been happy had Michin won, because both of these women frankly deserved it. They were both fantastic in 2024. They were great in the tournament, and they had a really fun match as well. I will say, out of all of the matches from an in-ring perspective, I would say that it's probably the weakest of the night. But just because it's the weakest, I don't think that it was necessarily a bad match. I do think that this was a significant step down from the great chemistry and match that they had during the dumpster match that they had about a month ago on Friday Night SmackDown. That to me was a better Chelsea Green versus Michin match than this one was. Obviously, that match just didn't have the stakes and the hot crowd that this match had. This was a pretty rudimentary match that was elevated significantly by the stakes and by how excited the crowd was for this match in general. Let's not forget that they were in Long Island, so when Chelsea Green pulled out the Rough Rider, the people from Long Island went crazy for the Long Island IC with woo woo woos just blaring across that entire arena. But really, the nature of this match was that Chelsea Green just kind of kept getting away with things. Like she got hit with the finisher, the eat the foot, only for her to only be able to kick out because she was able to get her feet on the ropes. And that's it. Because I actually thought there for a second that Chelsea Green was going to lose. Now, there was interference from Piper Niven, but nothing that was like ridiculously over the top. There was a moment where Piper Niven hits Michin with like what is that move? The almost like a big boss slam on the outside. But that was kind of the only thing, and that was pretty early on in the match, so it didn't fully impact the finish of the match. Piper did get herself involved in the finish of the match, distracting Michin just long enough to give Chelsea Green the edge as she does this awesome kind of like somersault over Michin and lands perfectly in the Unpretty Her position, hits the Unpretty Her and pins Michin 1, 2, 3 to become the first ever WWE Women's United States Champion. And I am losing my voice because I streamed this show and I screamed for Chelsea Green, and I'm excited for her now too. We had Nick Aldis go out there and celebrate with her. We had Pyro for Chelsea Green. It just felt like a moment that fans had earned. It felt like a moment that Chelsea Green had earned. It was honestly just such a feel-good moment, which is so funny because it's a rare feel-good moment involving one of the most dastardly heels that the WWE has. So overall, the match, but all of the circumstances around the match and the result of the match make this a thumbs up, absolutely. And last but not least, let's talk about the main event of the show, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship, which was the Winged Eagle belt for this. Here's the thing, this is where that time crunch started to come into effect, because by the time the bell rang, there were only 14 minutes left of the show. And within those 14 minutes, they had to go to commercial break. So if there was a match that was damaged because of time constraints, it was probably this one. But even with the short match, I felt like they put together a really cohesive in-ring story that was really entertaining and easy to follow throughout. So Cody Rhodes won the match, which I don't think surprises absolutely anybody. Now, if you watch post-show, because there was some shenanigans that happened, you'll see that Kevin Owens hit Cody Rhodes with a pile driver. So maybe they write off Cody Rhodes. Honestly, I could see them writing him off for at least a week, considering the next episode of SmackDown is pre-taped, and you couldn't really have Kevin Owens or Cody Rhodes on that show because they would have spoiled the result of the Saturday night's main event match. But I presume that we're probably going to continue with Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes based on that post-match angle. I'm confident that they're going to run this back most likely. Look, the result was obvious, but it's one that made sense. I think it would have been intriguing at the very least had Kevin Owens won, because it would have entirely changed the dynamic of this road to WrestleMania. But Cody Rhodes winning was a foregone conclusion. But the match itself was unpredictable, unlike the result of the match, because I love the homages that they did for Randy Orton, like Kevin Owens hitting that backdrop on the table on Cody Rhodes, then looking at the camera and saying, "Hi, Randy." We had Cody Rhodes hitting a RKO onto the announce table. Again, all of these nice little homages to Randy Orton, who's a big pivotal portion of both of these guys' careers. But the match itself was pretty even throughout. There were no shenanigans. There were no attempts at cheating. It wasn't until the refs got knocked out that things kind of got crazy. And the first crazy thing to point out is that Kevin Owens hit Cody Rhodes with a stunner and pinned him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, Kevin Owens had that match won, but the ref was knocked out cold. Another ref comes out. That ref gets knocked out cold as he gets hit with a disaster kick from Cody Rhodes. And now with two refs out, we have Kevin Owens go out and grab a chair, try to hit Cody with it. Cody dodges it, hits a crossroads on Kevin Owens onto the chair. And then the first ref that was knocked out, Lil Nate, magically and miraculously is now back to life to pin Kevin Owens 1, 2, 3. It was a quick match, felt rushed, but the narrative was pretty tight. It was pretty concise, and it made sense, and it was easy to follow. The commentary work for this match was brilliant as well. Jesse the Body Ventura, brother, you can come back whenever you want. Your commentary for this main event was so entertaining. He was so pro-heel, so pro-Owens. It was so old school, the way that he commentated on behalf of the heel. It was great. I think that this was a significant step down from their Bash at Berlin match, but I'm not really surprised considering it was significantly shorter and didn't have commercials. Overall, out of all of the matches, funnily enough, this one kind of felt the most like, or the least I should say, like a premium live event match. This felt like a SmackDown match with a lot of stakes involved. And I think it was because of that short time limit that they had, because they started so late. All the other matches kind of felt like proper PLE matches. This one, not so much. So I'm kind of going to give this one like in the middle. Like, it was entertaining, but I felt like the expectations for this match were significantly higher than all the other ones, and all the other ones rose to the occasion and exceeded expectations. This one, I felt like didn't quite hit the expectations that fans had. But what about the expectations of Saturday night's main event as a whole? Because I felt like a lot of expectations were met on this show in general, and some people are saying that this was a glorified house show with not enough story advancement. And to a degree, I kind of agree. It didn't exactly feel like this needle mover of a show, but I still really, really enjoyed it from just a wrestling perspective. I gotta be honest with you, I kind of enjoyed this more than Survivor Series War Games. Call me crazy. But anyways, overall, I like this. I like Saturday night's main event, but I feel like there are some fair criticisms that you're going to be hearing about this show throughout, as you watch other content creators and you read people's thoughts about the show online. But anyways, that's it. I'm done. Get out of here.